he passed away when I was 19 years old. Oh my gosh, they sent someone to kill me. Like, you should focus on what you can control.
Welcome to the Breadcrumb Effect podcast,
where we interview interesting people with a story to tell
and share what breadcrumbs they've picked up along the way. I'm Danny.
And I'm Brittany.
Welcome to the Breadcrumb Effect.
Welcome to the Breadcrumb Effect. Today we're joined by Jackie Jackson, the founder of Career and Home Journey. Jackie was raised by a single mother whose grit, work ethic, and belief that anything was possible shaped her to have a spirit of limitlessness. Though driven, Jackie always dreamed of a more traditional life: the white picket fence, being a stay-at-home mom, and raising her babies. After the birth of her son, financial realities led her back to work, where her determination quickly translated into promotions, titles, and increasing responsibility. But as her career flourished, cracks began to surface in her marriage. A faith-filled awakening revealed that the very traits that made Jackie effective and respected, decisiveness, control, strength, were also shaping her home in ways she had never examined. Rather than diminishing those qualities, God invited her to understand them more fully. That invitation reshaped how she saw herself, her marriage, and Scripture itself. I'm so excited today because we have Jackie with Career and Home Journey here. Jackie and I met relatively recently through a breadcrumb of our own.
Yeah.
We have an instant, very deep connection.
Yes.
And I do want to talk about Career and Home Journey and how you got there and what that is. But before we do that, can we take it back a little bit?
Sure.
Let's start about what you were doing professionally before Career and Home Journey.
So before Career and Home Journey, my husband and I were actually living in Colorado. So we're brand new here, new to the state. But at that time, I was overseeing operations for a state agency there, just doing the grind, honestly. I had started working there just copying files, and it was relatively easy to move up, especially if you were willing to do a lot of the things that people don't like to do. So it's interesting to talk about that part of my life, because people are always like, oh, how did you advance? And I've had a number of women ask for some mentorship opportunities. I'm like, honestly, just like do the things that no one else wants to do. And then at some point they'll be like, hey, you should do more things and more things. And yeah, I was overseeing operations there, managing a team of, I think like 22 people by the time that I moved here, but technology, finance, budget, marketing, all that. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, the things that no one wants to do. Kind of.
You're like,
I liked it. But no, I like the biggest thing that I loved about operations specifically is my favorite quote on it was that quote, "Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one." So I worked with a million different expert level professionals, whether that was attorneys, medical providers, things like that. They could not do what I do because they were so hyper focused and so specific in their specific area that it truly does take someone in my profession in operations to be able to see the whole picture and how each piece of the puzzle can actually work together. So before I was like, never mind. And now I'm here.
I really want to get into how you're here, but
yes,
again, before we do, because for those of you who don't know, Jackie and I go on a walk almost every single day. And I feel like we have uncovered many, many breadcrumbs together. But one thing that I want to get into before we do that is you had mentioned that success looked like something to you growing up. And it's now obviously shifted.
Yes.
So can you dive deeper into that?
Yeah, well, I mean, so I was born and raised in a really small town, but my mom was a single mom, and she really did like do it on her own. Like she did it on her own. The level of effort and just her working 2 jobs. She didn't have a college degree. She became like the finance director of the town that we lived in, and highly respected in our community, just a servant's heart, just all of that. I really did. I even with seeing my mom do all of this, I always thought that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. I always thought I'm going to marry someone. I didn't think I was going to be happy in marriage. To be fair, I was like, I'll probably never see him, but I'll be a stay-at-home mom and I'll watch our kids. But I wasn't going to work. And then, I got married, and I didn't realize at that point how much seeing my mom be so successful in her life really did just drive me and push me to like make it, I guess. You don't know that that's in you until you're put in that situation, and all of a sudden like I said, you just, even she would tell you after all of her success, I mean, it doesn't feel that important. It doesn't feel like I did all that much. And it's like, yeah, but you did. And you don't realize that you're doing it while you're there. So I was just a go-getter, very ambitious, ready to step in, do anything, just like she was throughout my entire life. So I had a baby, and then I went back to work, just financial related stuff. But yeah, I mean, she really is kind of who gave me all of my foundation. We're gonna do it no matter what. Might be hard, but hey, let's go crush it. I remember one time she gave me, I was having some trouble at work. I was having some trouble with how the pace at which I was advancing. There weren't a lot of people that appreciated the pace at which I was advancing in my career. And you know how you can talk to your husband sometimes and they're like, oh, well, I mean, they know you. They're with you all. They're like, well, maybe you could be a little nicer, and you're like, oh, and then you call your mom and she's like, you're a star. You're a star. That's why. That's the problem. You're a star. Just keep shining bright. And you're like, thanks, Mom. Thanks so much, Mom. So yeah, no, she really is kind of just watching her all those years. Yeah.
So she kind of was a breadcrumb, like watching her be a single mom and be so successful. Like you thought you grew up thinking you were going to be a stay-at-home mom.
I did.
And then you got into the workforce and you realized, okay, I kind of want to, I have to figure out a way.
Yeah.
And I have to make it work. Now you founded a company, you've started this career, and you are taking the principles from your mom and utilizing them to your advantage while you're able to still kind of stay at home, right? But you have this as well. It's not a traditional 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's a 24/7, entrepreneur. But still, at the same time, it's kind of mirroring both things that you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that an important part of the breadcrumbs of the story, because I've, on my website, I put a page called The Journey, and I really want to highlight all of the women that have shaped my faith. Because it wasn't that I grew up going to church, but I don't consider myself someone who grew up in the church, if that makes sense. Like I grew up around a lot of very faithful, very, very wonderful women that supported me in that. But my family wasn't praying every single night before we went to bed. We didn't pray before meals. But I have a cousin who was a stay-at-home mom. Now, her husband was a rancher. So to say that she was truly not working is like, ugh. No, I just always thought she had the perfect life. And that was why I just, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay home with my babies. And it really wasn't even, as I got older, I kind of came to realize it wasn't about that she got to say, it wasn't about the location of what she was doing. It was more just the energy that she had in creating a space and creating a home where everyone felt welcome and the door was unlocked. You could literally just walk in at any moment. Yeah, she's kind of how those women all played an integral part. And I think those two women specifically, as I was growing up, were kind of where I got these two in the church world kind of conflicting identities, honestly. My aunt, another incredible woman in my journey, she is the one that she picked me up every Sunday, took me to church with her, took me home when it was done. She's the one that I really have to credit taking me to church. And I had plenty of people, again, that believed in God, that wanted me to know that Jesus Christ was my Savior. But there wasn't anyone really guiding me or teaching me how to read the Bible and things like that. And so it led to kind of where I am now, honestly.
What I like about what you're saying is all of these women in your life were dropping breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
And what's great about our life is we pick a little bit from here and a little bit from here. And it's almost like you're pulling these different ingredients to bake the loaf of bread that works best for you in your life.
Yeah.
And when you were in your career, oftentimes, right, we're like, what's next? What's next? Because you can do it. And it feels good. Like I'm having such a great impact. I'm helping these people. I'm really good at what I'm doing. But sometimes just because you're good at what you're doing doesn't mean it's always what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And your life and your priorities are changing, right?
Yeah.
Like pre-kids versus after kids. And so your impact in the world changes. And so what I like about that is that these different stages in your life, it's like you're assessing it and then you're making these big moves. And so I think and your question's probably going to go here. I know you're a woman of faith, but like, what was your guiding light or those breadcrumbs that made you leap to these big choices in your life?
Yeah. One huge breadcrumb that is a little difficult for me to talk about, but I'm getting more comfortable with it is I say that I was raised by a single mom. I actually had a stepdad for 10 years. He was in my life for 10 years. He passed away when I was 19 years old. Huge, like, and he also played just a big part in my faith overall, but huge part of my pivot, I would say, in my faith. Neither my mom or my stepdad were really super involved in the church. They were both divorced in the 90s. They had some falling outs. So they weren't, they had their reasons for why they chose to only go to church on the holidays. When he passed away, me being in that part of my life in general, I mean, it's fine. You're 19.
Were you still at home?
I was at school. I had gone through 1 year of college. I was about to go into my sophomore year. He passed away that August, just before my sophomore year. I think sophomore year started like 2 weeks later.
A little time in your life.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I mean, you're already kind of in that space where you've left your home church. I had gone to church a couple of times since being up there, but I also had a job that I had to work on the weekends. He passed away, and in my lack of true understanding at that point in my life, I really did believe like this is a punishment. This is something you've done in this year away, and God is punishing you for some reason. Well, not for some reason. I had all the reasons, in my year away that's my first exposure to the world of what that could have been. And that I wouldn't say that I turned away in that moment, but I remember just being angry, so angry. And you can be. I mean, it's okay to be that. You're also grieving, which that's a part of it.
Yeah. One of the steps.
One of the steps. Yeah, I was like
literally like odd thing to go through.
Actually, another thing of grief, that like anger.
Well, it's weird that anger is a healthy part, and sometimes people think anger is not always a healthy emotion.
Yeah.
It's there for a purpose, and it serves a purpose.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I really directed that anger. That was where I directed it, was at God, because I didn't understand. But then, but it's not that I became a non-believer at that point. When I did meet my husband, we both agreed, hey, we were believers. That was really important to us. It's interesting to me now because I'm like, wow, it was so important to us, but neither of us were really living that out. It wasn't until I was pregnant with my son that we really made a point to find a home church. We wanted to raise our kids in the church and do things differently than the way my parents had. So that's a huge part of it that, again, I'm still working on actually saying those things out loud. It's almost 20 years now. I was just like, this year I think is 19 years. Yeah, this year's 19 years. So almost 20 years. And I'm finally like, we should probably unpack that, Yeah. We should probably unpack that and actually be able to just discuss it. So
never too late.
Yeah.
Let's just say that for anybody listening to,
yes,
it's never too late to unpack the things in your life, because it's these things that happen in our life that do impact either how we show up or our belief system or how we raise our kids. And
and it's okay to still get emotional about it, because it's a big loss. I always like, when someone passes, I feel like there's a hole in your heart, and no matter how much time passes, you might not think about it every single day, but when you do think about it, the hole is there.
Yeah.
Seeing you cry is going to make me cry. Stop it.
I'm not crying. The tears are just in there. I'm actually
literally
proud of myself.
Somebody cries on every episode.
And I was like, where are your things?
I need to
put
get
that on the list.
Yes.
Put that on the list. I was like, I'm gonna be so impressed if I get through this without crying. But
we're just like, good luck.
The whole of it, yeah.
I will cry on every episode, and so I'll cry with you.
I know, that's why I assumed you would have had. I've heard the episodes now, so I'm like, you don't have tissues yet? What are you doing?
I just wipe my tears with my finger.
With my sleeve.
But yeah, I mean, to go back to breadcrumbs a bit, like, I will tell you too, like, that I was a pretty, you might guess, like, I was a pretty goody growing up, and my husband was not a goody. And truly, both of us can say, like, we met each other at the exact perfect time. I met him about 5 years after my dad had passed away. And you can imagine in that time, the goodiness had worn off. a bit, but it wasn't the goodiness that I would say wore off, but as much as it was just a grace and a mercy and an understanding for other people that had made mistakes in their life.
Mhm.
And so when I met my husband, he drank, he wasn't that bad. I'm like, he's not really bad. I'm like, not really that bad. But for good,
Like,
goody.
and goody.
I know, like, drink. And
he danced and he
yeah, that's true. It was,
He would grind.
Yes. I was like, but so I'm like, he wasn't that bad. But the goody that I was as a young, when I was young, as a teenager, like I would not have gone for that. Like, and he's a great guy, but I would have been like, no.
Timing is so important.
So I mean, it's as much as like that was a trial for me. It is also a huge part in like meeting him and being able to just accept not just him, but like people in general for like, hey, life is life, and man, like that sucks. Jesus still loves you. You know? But so that's and me.
Yeah. Really you.
And me. And so I mean that was very important. Probably though what really kind of shaped everything and shaped career and home journey, which I started now, was we had a lot of trouble having kids. And again, the planner that I am, gonna get married. We waited about a year, then we're gonna have a baby. And then we're going to have another baby, and then we're going to have another baby, and then I'll be home. All those things. We had the plan, And I know what people say about our plans, and God just laughs. And it was like, kind of like we had our plan. That wasn't God's plan for us. But it was, and this is actually a piece of my story that I've talked about enough, very comfortable talking about it. But I want to acknowledge, like, if you are in a season of infertility, when you are in it, I get it. Like, you can't talk about it. You cannot talk about it. You don't want to talk about it. I understand. But I think it's so important to talk about because so many women go through this and so many women have this struggle and feel so alone in that. So that was a time in my life, again, where multiple miscarriages, but it was all consuming. It was all consuming for me. And we were in church at that point. Again, we wanted to raise our kids in church, so we were in church. And I have a number of people in my life, and the story they kept referring me back to was the story of Sarah. If you're not familiar with that story, Sarah was very, very old when she had her son Isaac and wife of Abraham's. This is Sarah and Isaac's son. She was very, very old, laughed in God's face when he said, hey, you're going to have a baby. And she was like, yeah, okay. It's kind of the vibe I get for it. So I had read this story so many times in that season because so many people refer to me. And anytime you look up a devotional about infertility or anything like that, that's the story that you get referred to. It's the nice, neat, sweet, and she had a baby part of the story. So it wasn't until I read Control Girl years later, which we can dive into why I even picked that up off the shelf, complete breadcrumb in itself, that really told the whole story and truly that messiness when you're in it and just how angry you can be and how spiteful you can be to other people around you. That I was suddenly like, oh my goodness. I don't think I've read this story so many times, but never even understood all of the story. If I had all of the story, if I could see all of the story and the messiness that she really was, that would have made her so much more relatable to me during that season and during that time. So
yeah,
those are my two, I would say, big pieces that I know are just leading up to here.
I really love what you said about the story of Sarah because it's very true that like in the Bible, we hear these stories about women and they're always put in, like you said, like a nice little neat package. And when you think about old days, like you don't think about them as relatable to us, right? You think like, oh, they were just so proper and la-di-da. I don't know, I had an accent, but
they're also British. Yeah. I believe that's in scripture.
Yeah. It's so true. Like if you really read it for what it is, your series.
I was just asking about that. So can we pause and for one, tell people your handles?
So my Instagram handle is @career and home journey, all spelled out. There is a series I do on there, which is probably my favorite personally, which is called Girls Night Out with Women in the Bible. And the whole goal with that was a lot of these stories, as I started diving into them about women, was really just trying to bring some relatability to the women in the Bible. And so it's set kind of in modern day scene. It's I will say it is inspired by scripture. A lot of these conversations don't take place in scripture, but it is inspired by scripture. And just my take, my interpretation of who these women might be, like, I don't know, stealing a salt shaker off of the table. You always...
That was my favorite.
Everybody has that friend that's like stealing salt shakers and stuff, like, like they order a cocktail, they order a drink, and I try to make the drinks, kind of what they would order, so like Eve is an apple martini, like something fun like that does just lighten it up a bit. And if you're watching it and you're like, I know her, like that's my friend so-and-so, like great, like that story in the Bible, I think really could be a great place for her to dive in and maybe see some things that she could actually relate to once you put a different lens on it. So
my favorite one was Lot's wife.
Yes, Lot's wife.
Yeah.
Yes. I love Lot's wife.
That one was
she
so
seems like a
good.
fun lead. Like okay, we don't know a lot about, like, this is again inspired by scripture, but not actually scripture. Christine Kane actually does a phenomenal series on her, or it's one of her speeches if you ever get to hear Christine Kane. But just like, we don't really know anything about her, but she could have had so much going on in her life, and she probably did. And I think one of the examples she gives, she might have remodeled the kitchen back there. We don't know why she looked that, but she did. Mm-hmm. And so, in that series, she's all fun. And that's kind of how I view her, is like, she had a life. Right. Like, she had a life back there, and we tend to focus just on, she looked back. Well, she... Like,
but maybe we all would have looked back. Think about it.
I don't know about you. Like, I've looked back. I'm new to Texas. Like, that's one of the biggest things I've had to continue to tell myself in being here is, hey, don't look back. Do not look back. But she turns around to grab her drink off of the table and turns into a pillar of salt. So yes, that's...
It was great.
Because I wouldn't leave would I leave my drink?
I know.
I mean, let's be real.
You go back. You might be a little thirsty.
Like, I gotta go. Take this for the road.
Yeah.
See ya.
You need a roadie.
Yeah.
Ready for your life.
I like that you modernize it, because yes, the Bible is historical documentation, and the same emotion, the range of emotions we have now are the exact same range of emotions that they had then. Mm-hmm. They also had the same problems. Like, it doesn't matter. We all have issues. We all have things that we go through. And I love that series.
Well, and like, truly, when was the last time you heard a sermon about a woman in the Bible? Like, we just don't.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute.
Let's do dive into it.
I was like, I mean, it's like, it's just, it is the reality that, like, as women, we have to be better about teaching each other about women. And honestly, like, as women, we haven't done a great job at that. Like, especially in the church space, as a professional working woman, I haven't, like, there are some church spaces where I'm like, come to your Bible study. It's Wednesday.
During the day.
At 2.
I'll be working. Yeah, exactly. So, and so it's like things like that, or, the only possible role that you can have is to go serve in nursery, and watch some babies. Like, and to be fair, like, churches are coming so far in that. Like, I've been a member of a couple of churches now that really have just embraced who I am and the true strengths and skills that I bring to the table. So, I can't say that they're not doing better, but that's the church that I grew up in. And that did shape kind of how I felt about my place in it, and whether or not I was welcome there. And truly, when I say we went back to church, the church we went back to, the pastor's wife, wildly successful in like marketing and community development and things like that. Like, a C-suite executive is the pastor's wife. And so, like, I felt at home as a professional woman who worked outside of the home. I felt like I belonged. And can't all do that, because then we are leaving out a huge population of women. But it's just like, can we just cheer for each other? Yeah. Can we just root each other on? But also, like, those ladies in there, and not in that, the ladies in the Bible. I was like, no. The ladies in the Bible, they, like, they're so relatable. But we also as women have to be willing to talk about the messiness, and we have to be willing to dive into like the yuckiness of their stories. And honestly, like even when we do hear about them in church spaces or in women's ministry, sometimes like we don't tend to talk about the ones that had a strong personality and were probably a pain in the butt for their husbands and everybody around them, but I know some people pointing at me here, like I know some people that are that, so there's stories for all of us.
It can serve a purpose in certain rooms.
Yes.
And I think that's what I like about your story is that you've established this self-awareness in all of these different stages of your life.
Yeah.
But you do have to assess, right? Like, how am I showing up? How is this impacting the people around me?
Yeah. I think that was one of the biggest shifts that Control Girl helped me make was just a self-responsibility. Like for the longest time in my marriage, I was all about what my husband was doing and what he was doing wrong and what he needed to do. And then this book helped me kind of turn that around and say like, oh, hey, what are you doing? Anything you're doing here that you could do better? Like,
Wait, let's talk about Control Girl, because finding it in the first place was a breadcrumb moment.
Yes. So professional woman working outside the home, high level, senior level leader in my career. And we had a new executive level leadership come into the organization that I was working in. And when I tell you there were some control girls that they brought in with that, there was, that's what I'll say about it. Like they were women that just everything I fought against as a professional woman to prove that we were not micromanagers, that we could be versatile, that we could be strategic, just everything I fought against a stereotype of who high-level professional women were, they were. And it was so frustrating, created such a toxic work environment. Like, and when I say like toxicity, like this is true story. I'm not the type to just say, okay, whatever you say. But I was definitely like nope, you're wrong. It's not how you should be doing this. And I was standing up for my people, for me, for my organization, for everything that I had worked so hard for all those years to build. One night I woke up to a sound in the middle of the night, and no lie, my first thought was, oh my gosh, they sent someone to kill me. What? Yeah, that's the level of toxicity that we're talking about. Now, I very quickly was able to say, okay, that's irrational. That's an irrational thought. But that was the level of toxicity that they had brought into my workplace. And I went to talk to someone who, therapied me. And I was so angry because, we have this whole conversation and he's like, hey, what it sounds like to me? Sounds like you should focus on what you can control, And I'm like, oh, you know what? This is the first time in my life I've ever heard this, Focus on what you can control. Yeah, this is all about control. Yeah, you have none. Thanks so much. I appreciate your help. No, I'll reschedule online. Thank you. Yeah. But so, the seed was planted of, hey, this is a control issue. And it was like, to be fair to this individual, it 100% was. I was just not in a place in life where I was ready to hear that. I was picking up a present for my godson for his baptism and happened to walk by this devotional section. And if I'm going to show the camera like this, there were approximately 3 copies of this book. It's the text is in it is in cursive even of Control Girl. But it's called Control Girl, Lessons on Surrendering Your Burden of Control from 7 Women in the Bible. It's by Shannon Popkin. I talk about it a lot. It's not my book. I didn't write it. I just love it. But yeah, there were 3 or 4 on the shelf and multiple rows. You guys are book people. You understand so many books to choose from, and truly just placed there and was like, oh, okay. And I got it thinking oh, this is going to teach me how to deal with them. God's going to teach me how to deal with them. But as I started diving into it and reading about it, the examples that she gives are all very personal, but even to the point of her husband's ability to order a bagel. You know what? He's got it. He can order a bagel. How many times have I been in a drive-thru with my husband, where I'm like, a number 7, a number 7, and with cheese, and just order me a number 7 with cheese, please. But then he'll say number 7 with cheese. He waits for them, to ask the question. But, it's those kinds of such real life examples, and that feeling that I was having with, like I said, that toxicity that had been created and that wake up in the middle of the night moment, it really highlighted for me, like, oh my goodness, this is how the people around me are feeling. This is how I'm making my husband feel. This is the environment I'm creating for my children to grow up in, was really what it highlighted for me.
Just two big breadcrumbs. I think hearing that noise and then coming across this book. And then two things that I'll say is what I like is the language that you're using. You're not using the word bossy. We hear that so much with women in the workplace. Bossy, bossy, bossy. After reading Lean In, those are leadership skills. The same attributes and descriptions aren't used for women. If it's used, it's a negative connotation. Same word. But what I like here is she doesn't shy away from natural emotion. I like that. I don't like that it's showing up in your story, but you know what I mean? It shows up in our story.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, it says from 7 women. So that's kind of how I got back into reading scripture. And because one of the women that we learned those lessons from is Sarah. And again, it was the first time that I had ever truly read the entire story and had those emotions. It's not a book that's like, oh, and that's how we all can be. Like, yeah, just go be that. It's not the message, of course, but it is like, hey, this is what it is. And we do need to acknowledge this is who we are. We're going to have to address this. This is how it's actually impacting other people and those around us by not addressing anger, anxiety, fear, all of those things.
Mm-hmm. And how that manifests. And so for those individuals that might be listening that aren't in the church or maybe aren't of faith, this book reminds me of 2 different books.
Okay.
Let Them.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Extreme Ownership, within the same vein.
Now, Control Girl you picked up
Yes.
while you were in the workplace,
Yes.
and you realized maybe we had to work on ourselves a little bit. And then how did Career and Home Journey come about from that?
It's a journey. Well,
It's a
Literally.
honestly, we're still on the journey with that. But no, my sister-in-law actually.
We have to tell you about something we've been loving lately. It fits our whole breadcrumb philosophy perfectly. It's called the Feel Good Workbook, and it was created by Dr. Kell, who you might remember from our manifesting episode. You know how she talks about following the universe's breadcrumbs? This workbook is basically that, but on paper, with actual tools you can use in real life. The idea behind it is honestly so simple, but so powerful. It teaches you how to use your human guidance system, which is basically your built-in compass for life. Think of it like the game Hot and Cold. When something feels good, you're moving in the right direction. When something feels heavy or off, that's your signal that you're getting colder and maybe taking a step away from what you actually want. What we love about this workbook is that it shows you how to read those emotional signals in real time and then shift back to feeling good fast. Not ignore your feelings, not push through. Just gently course correct so you stay aligned with where you're meant to go. Because here's the thing, the key to health, healing, and honestly creating a life you love is feeling good. And when you feel good, you're aligned, you're magnetic, you're following the breadcrumbs. And when you don't, this workbook helps you figure out why and what to do next. And the best part is our listeners get 10% off the Feel Good Workbook. Just use the code breadcrumbs10 at checkout. Feel free to go to the link in our show notes, or you can go to Linktree/Dr. Kelly, that's Dr.Kelley. So if you're trying to live more intentionally, more aligned, and actually enjoy the path you're on, this is such a good place to start.
My sister-in-law was the one who was kind of encouraged me to get on social media, but it was because of this book that I really made some very real shifts in how I was showing up as a wife because of this book. Now, that's not to say I became the perfect wife and I never struggled with things ever again. No, I made some very real shifts. Some of the biggest things that I started with was just the organization and functionality of my home. I had created a lot of systems that were Instagram worthy, but weren't actually serving my family, or it was creating an unrealistic expectation for my family that, this coat closet being all the way across our house, but expecting everyone to take all of their coats all the way across the house rather than like, hey, also right here in this laundry room, I could set up some hooks and then they won't end up on my floor. You know what I mean? So it's, and then, or just like actually giving things a place in your home, like true organization, so that when I say, hey, go put this away, I'm not losing my mind because you didn't put it away where it belongs. But truly, like, I know where it belongs. It's right here. It's in my head. But how would you know?
Right.
Like, and how many of us have had that conversation with our husband, of like, well, I want to help you, but I just do it wrong. I do, like, it doesn't matter. Like, when I try to help you, I do it wrong. And like, I had to really sit with that and like, yeah, you do. But I'm a part of that. Like, I am a part of why you can't put it in the right place, which is, well, it was here and now I put it here because it makes more sense for me to have it here. And I never told you that, those kinds of things that it's like, yeah, no, we all play a part of it. So that's how it started, was more just getting my home in order. That's what I thought it was going to be. And then again, I just continued on this journey of like really diving into scripture, and it's just continued to be something that God has continued to pull me toward, is like, hey, no, like, yes, you needed to figure this out about yourself. You needed this to create a much better environment for you, for your husband, for your children. But also, that's not the message I have for you to share with people. Like the message that I truly believe God is calling me to share is this message of, hey, women in the Bible, there were real women, like actual women. These women existed in history. These are their real stories in life. These are the real struggles that they had. And I see so many young people, again, going back to scripture, Proverbs 31 is one of the most common devotionals that I see. That was not a real woman in scripture. That's one of the women that I see so many young people like acting like it's a checklist of, oh, I got to be trustworthy. I got to be an entrepreneur, and going down the checklist of what is going to make them worthy and valuable. And I'm like, yeah, no, actually love her, love the ideal, but she wasn't real. So let's take some time and truly look at the real women in scripture. And that's actually what's going to help us to feel better about ourselves and overcome all these emotions that we've just talked about. So,
there's a book actually called How to Be a Proverbs 31 Woman. I might have it there, or I might have it on my other list or my other bookshelf.
How dare you?
But I literally, I got it when I was like 20, 21.
Is it written by a man?
What?
No, this is, no, it's, but that's just it. It's not like these are, it's like, again, it's not like, it is scriptural. It's not wrong to like us to strive to be something like that. But
but
it's women. But it's women. This is in women's ministry, in like Bible studies. Like, women study this, and they like, there's so many other incredible real women that we could study to see like their story and how they overcame things that were really hard, that are very, very real and relatable to the struggles that we're having,
and how God used them and used their imperfections,
yes,
to still make something beautiful.
Yes,
which we see that all the time with the men in the Bible.
Yeah,
and it's very common, but it's not as it's common with the women in the Bible. We just don't hear about it that way. We don't do that way.
Yeah,
but the Bible, literally, it's right there.
Yes,
got to open the pages.
Yeah,
and listen to Jackie at Career and Home Journey.
I want to get to what what the services you provide with your company, because I noticed there was a breadcrumb within this book.
You have dog-eared and written all over it.
I
like to do that. I don't like that.
Is this making
I like it.
This is my goal. This is my goal. I'm a journaler.
Same.
But most of the time I buy these nice, beautiful journals, and the perfectionism in me just wants to keep them pretty or have a specific thing to talk about in them. But it's one of the things I'm actively working on this year, is to like that's a perfectionist thing. Just write in it. Just
so
like this is so freeing to me. I envy you for being able to like I am actively working.
I literally stuck a piece of gum in here.
Wait. I am actively working on this right now.
Jackie's eyes are lighting up. I could do that.
I'm an annotator. I love writing because I also have so many of my own thoughts. I like to get them down, and I like to add my own thoughts or go back to them. But I also say that a well-worn book is a well-read book. So a lot of people sometimes like to leave their books nice and pristine. But I'm like, books are meant to be read. Okay, so here's a breadcrumb that's in here actually. It says,
Wait, I'm so sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Before you do that, because you just said you like a book that's well read, I think it was literally Books Podcast was talking about this, where they were like, if I was an author and I had two people come up to me and they wanted me to sign their book, would I be more excited to sign the book that was like completely written all over and annotated, like you could tell it was like really loved and really read? Or would I prefer like the person who like had the book and it was in like pristine condition? And I don't remember which one they said, but when they said that, I was like, damn, maybe I need to be writing in my book more. But I'm a journaler like you.
Yeah.
But it also, each journal has to have a purpose. Wait, I'm sorry.
You don't want to make journaling a task, right? Like you want to feel good while you're doing it. You don't want all the pressure.
No,
it's not a task for me, but the keeping it nice and clean. It honestly, for me, it's more of a,
You don't want it to
It's
bother.
I don't know how to
you.
describe it.
yeah, it's a mental thing for me that I'm like actively like, you got to get over this, because I want my books to look like this.
I do. This is a book that we actually won in a giveaway from Jackie. It's a journal. What's funny is I started off writing some 2026 manifestation. Then I started doing some of your journal in there.
Mhm.
Sometimes I don't have it always with me, but like I can take this with me.
Yes.
So I'll look at it online and journal it here. And then I also started writing my prayers, and then like sometimes I'll write like my 10 little manifestations or whatever. So it turned into like where it's a hodgepodge. Now this will never be a to-do list. No.
Yeah.
This is my writing in here, my brain dump. But sometimes I'll have it to be like, oh, I don't want two things to overlap in the journal.
Yeah.
Because this journal is for this and this journal is for this. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
I need to get over it. I'm getting over it in 2026.
And I like it because it's how our brains are, though, right? And depending on what your focus is that day, it shows up here. And it'll be really cool in 5 years for you to go back and look at that and be like, oh, wow, these are my manifestations. That's what I was focusing on that day.
True.
No, I think it's awesome. And again, I do want to get to these services, especially that journal that she just referenced. But I thought one thing that was really cool in here, it says, sometimes God uses something drastic, like a car crash, ongoing infertility, or a tornado to expose my lack of control. But other times he tucks in his invitation into something smaller, like a certain towel I encountered on the bathroom floor. So these are breadcrumbs. And so sometimes we say, depending on, what people's belief system is, maybe it's the universe, maybe it's God. However you want to define it, no matter what, it's a breadcrumb.
Yeah. I love this podcast, and I love I love like that you all are helping people explore this, because this is one of the biggest things that on my journey that I've been exploring. Now, for me, of course, it is God. Like every bit of this is God leading me to something different, or a big shift, whatever it is, or just shaping me into something new. And most of my life, I have had these moments like my dad passing, like infertility, that when I was in it, I could not see God working in it. But once I got through it, it's so much easier to look back and say like, see what you did there. I got you, God. I see what you did there. And this right now, like the season that I'm in right now, is the first season that I've ever had that it's so clear to me, like, I know you're working. And I'm seeing him more and more in just, oh yeah. And it's given me so much more confidence and trust in him that I'm like, oh, I see you working. I don't have the slightest trust. We're on the journey right now, ladies. I do not know where we are going. I do not know at all, because he is like, you can't handle the whole plan, and I get that. I can't. I would be in there just. Are you sure? I'm not sure if that is where we're going, But he is working so much in my life right now, and it's for the first time in my life I have been able to just see him working rather than get through it, turn around and say, oh,
yeah,
okay.
You're having breadcrumbs show up every day.
Yes.
Which, I mean, to me and you, it's God, right?
Yes.
You're able to kind of almost like he's communicating with you through these breadcrumbs.
Yes.
Through these signs.
And also meeting you since moving here, like, as you said, every morning we're on these walks and we're talking about things. And every morning, I know we're doing it in the podcast, but every morning you're like, oh, that's God. That's a breadcrumb. And you're so right.
It's almost every morning. Okay, let's actually talk about that really quickly.
Yeah.
On how we met, because this is total breadcrumb moment. So you moved from
Colorado
to
Texas.
And how long ago was that? That was just
it was July. So like 6 or 7 months now.
Wow.
So they just moved here. Now, they're brand new to the area. We just moved at the end of July into this city. Even though we're not new to Texas, we're new to this area. There is I guess at our elementary school, most people do this one after school program and they don't do anything else, right? Or they pick up their kids, or they ride the bus. Those are like really the three things. But we were taking our kids to another after school program that actually picked them up and took them there.
Well, because I wasn't working, but I was going to be soon. And you also were.
I was working,
And we were probably also being new. We were the ones that were like, what do people do with this?
I know.
Because they didn't have it set up.
No.
When they took
they didn't have the after school program right away when school started.
God moment.
Yeah. We were
God moment. It's not even set up.
Yeah.
It's not even set up. And as like professional women that were like, oh, no. Like, and so, this other after school program.
Yeah, other after school program, found it, started taking our kids there. Didn't know each other. Okay. I had seen her a few times, or I'd seen a lady, which was Jackie, pick up her kids. And what's so funny is, I tell you this, I'm like, she was like so professional. I'm like, where is she coming from?
Nowhere at that time in my life. Nowhere.
I'll show up like this.
I show up looking like a bum
every day.
She picks up kids from the after school program looking like this.
From HEB.
No, sometimes, not always.
I was like, oh, she always looks so nice. So then we're randomly they had something with like a meat. Oh, it was
another like
morning.
Look at us gonna be like go to school, mom. Like be involved in the new school, mom.
Which, by the way, we're not about that life.
Brittany as a kindergartner, I have a second grader, and I will say, like when I was very actively working, I didn't go to a lot of the school stuff because I was working. But we both had. There's one specific meeting every week that I think we both were like, I'm gonna be involved this time. So we went, and she's like, hey. I was like, I know you.
I was like, hey, do you go to? And I said the name of the place, and she was like, yes. And I was like, oh, my kid goes there too.
Yeah, and her daughter's so stinking cute, like just the sweetest thing. And they didn't have a lot of kids at the time, so it was I absolutely knew who she was, and just the most adorable, sweet little girl. And so, of course, I'm like, oh, well, if you're her mom, you've got to be great. So let's do it. And I tell all my friends, I'm like, listen, if you don't like Brittany, you are the problem. Okay.
Like, I agree. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm like, that should be our slogan for the podcast. It's like Brittany. If you don't like Brittany, you.
And then I realized that she lived in the same neighborhood as my uncle, which is just down the street from me.
Yeah.
And we started.
I think you told me you were actually like coming into our neighborhood.
Oh, maybe that's
with a gate code and walking. And
a stalker. I know. She's like, I know where you live.
No, she has family that lives there. She had a gate code. She's like, yeah, I come walk over there. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
we should do that.
Yeah, and we did. And literally, the first day we walked, we probably told our whole life story.
Cool.
By the second day, we were like blood sisters exchanging blood. No, I'm just kidding. But like serious.
She's like, I brought a knife.
I mean, true though. So in the professional world, like I had a huge team of people that bouncing ideas off of. And so in this new pursuit and in the podcast, like we have been just kind of another resource to bounce ideas off of and like get feedback on something that feels kind of isolating sometimes.
Yeah.
To be on these creative journeys all by yourself, like God moment, you're in my life. On purpose. I know it because you have just given me so much like she's the ultimate hype girl.
Don't you think it's true?
Yeah. I was like, yeah.
And so and it's funny because not only did we meet that way and then became like instant BFF, but also, like you said, we're on the same journey in very similar timelines in terms of a lot of things. So not only like motherhood is practically similar, we're the same age, which is also weird. In general, finding someone that's your same age, and I don't know why.
We had more time to like Danny, come join. Like
I know,
nah, but okay.
And then we also, we're doing like we have the podcast. She has Career and Home Journey, and it's pretty on par with one another, going through similar things that the exact same time. So this is a total breadcrumb. And I will have to say, Jackie has given us so much good advice and so much.
Are you like, this is my idea when really it's her idea? What I understand is like giving Jackie more credit. No, that's like, wait, are you supposed to be on the podcast? Like, what's happening here? I didn't get in the chat.
You're part of the group chat.
No.
You're going to hear voice notes all day.
Oh, I do love Brittany's voice notes. I do love Brittany's.
It's like a podcast.
We need to save all of them. That was our breadcrumb moment. And I am honestly forever grateful for you.
Yeah.
You are the GOAT.
Thanks. Back at you, sister.
You're the GOAT too. I love you.
No, we just already know that. No,
yes.
This is our first time meeting.
Yes,
but I've
this is
heard
our
so
first
much
time.
about you.
Yeah.
And so I think this is just really cool.
Yeah. But well, and can I also say that, like, obviously, like, we just had this moment. I hope you weren't feeling too weird, Danny. But like, I love like women just coming together and supporting women. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
I'm sure Danny doesn't feel any sort of way about that.
I
because
know,
it's like,
no jealousy. Like, we could celebrate each other's
Yeah.
successes. And
Yeah.
not only that, like, enhance them.
Right.
So this is a concept that I've been trying to figure out how to write. And I've thrown it in social media a few times. But speaking of journaling, I like a daily prompt, right? Like right now I'm reading The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. And in there was some passage, it's all about stoicism, hence the name, about, being better, right? And like, what does it mean to be better? Is it mean being better than everybody else? Does it mean like you? But I read it as, no, it's me being better than who I was yesterday, or me showing it better. It's not about being the best in the room.
Mm-hmm.
That helps sometimes, right? With promotions and trying to achieve certain things. But there's over 6 billion people on this planet. There's enough room for everybody to accomplish what they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the podcast world, we don't need to compete for listeners because there's plenty of ears to hear what we have to say. And what's amazing, even within that, over 6 billion people on the planet, not every story has still been told. Like there's still so many unheard stories and so many more journeys to be had. And everyone has their own. It's almost like so hard to fathom, honestly.
Yeah.
That was heavy.
No, but you're right. Like,
Yeah.
like you think about like 6 billion people and you think about, holy shit, every single person.
Yeah.
What's interesting is every single person is going through something.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is, but our stories, even though they're different, maybe in timelines or a little bit different in how it shows up, the themes are the same.
Yeah.
It's love, it's loss, it's grief, it's happiness. We're all experiencing these emotions at different timelines and at different points, but we all experience the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just really cool. Like, this is why I love this particular podcast, is because we are able to talk to people. And it's like, what's funny is I'm seeing so many common themes within every person.
Yeah.
It's completely different story.
Yeah.
But the themes are the same.
Yeah. I think too, when you, as I was saying earlier, like when you're in it, so we all go through these same things, but when you are in it, it is so easy to forget that other people are going through things.
100.
So I love that you guys are doing this, and to just help see like, no, everybody has a story. Everybody can go through these really difficult things in life. And as you said, they're the same themes. We just don't want to share them with each other. So I love that you guys are doing this.
Yeah. Yay.
I highly recommend.
So we know that this book was life-changing for you and it
Yes.
impacted your life and the trajectory of your life. I want to hear about what advice would you give somebody, some of our listeners that maybe aren't in the church or aren't of faith or are familiar with the Bible. Like, what advice would you give them on how they can apply some of these concepts and maybe even use the segues into the tools that you offer within your company? So I would love to see how you might frame it for people that don't have that background.
I mean, the advice that I would give, I think, would be that we've already kind of touched on this, but there are so many women in the Bible that are so relatable. And so I would encourage you to dive a little deeper. I mean, this can be just a quick chat GPT prompt of like, who are the messy women in the Bible? Because so often the stories that you're hearing and the stories that you read about are Mary, the mother of Jesus, Mary, the sister of Martha. Even in Martha, we clean her up and like make a big story about her, but we we talk about all of these women that are already very great women, Ruth, Esther, phenomenal women, but there are so many other women. So my advice to you would be, don't just jump into those women. Like, specifically, maybe go into hey, not just the messy woman of the Bible, but hey, messy woman in the Bible who's dealing with fear, who's dealing with anxiety, and ask it to create a reading plan for you. If you've never done anything at all, start there. Like, just open up the Bible, read those, and truly try to understand like what that woman was actually feeling and put yourself into that situation. Because I promise you, there's a message for you, and there is a lesson for you, and there's hope for you if you just read it from that reframed lens. It's one of the biggest things that I am working to do in my offerings, because there are so many concepts, again, kind of coming from this world of didn't really have a deep understanding of the why in a lot of my upbringing in faith. So right now I just released my first publication. It's called My Body, His Temple, which is a 45-day devotional journal of scriptural reference, devotional, and 2 journal prompts. One is almost always going to be like, hey, what do you actually think about this? Because even just hearing my body is a temple, I had heard that my whole life. And it wasn't until I had read an essay from a gentleman at our church now that really kind of made me think like, I guess I've never been shown this. Like, I've heard it, but I've never truly known what that means to apply it. And he, he had been through addiction, like he was recovering through addiction and things like that. And so it's taking my goal with everything is to take these common phrases or these common things that we've heard all the time that maybe never really dove into. So that's the first one that I have out. Another common one you might hear is like respect for your husband. Like, what does that mean? It means something different to a lot of people. So I'm working to put some very real, relatable things around that to help define it more. So there's that one. And then I'm so excited because I'm working on a bigger project right now, which is the first thing that's going to have a physical product associated with it. Don't know the name yet, but think like dinner mystery, home dinner mystery, those packs combined with like the women of the Bible. So that's the product that I'm working on right now. I'm hoping to be able to launch like early April, maybe right after Easter is the goal right now. So that's another one. Again, that's primarily because so many of the women that I talk to that are in women's ministry, they struggle with this, like, well, what should we do? Because you can read another devotional, but to really have an immersive experience where women can come in and have the whole event plan for you that's not crazy, astronomical, thousands upon thousands of dollars to bring in these large speakers and things like that. That's the goal, is to create a product that just kind of sets the event up for them or is very easy for them to then host the event. And then speaking of those wildly successful speakers and, people out there on stages making millions upon millions of dollars, also starting that. Haven't quite made the millions upon millions or the twos of dollars yet on that. But that's what I'm working on right now. Also is just trying to get some speaking opportunities booked for the year. And so I'm available for that as well.
Which I feel like anyone who needs that really needs to look into hiring Jackie, because as you can tell from the podcast, she's, number 1, highly intelligent. Number 2, so freaking hilarious. And number 3, puts everything in a relatable context so that you actually get something whenever she speaks. And I do have to say, your journal is bomb. Remember, I had a revelation on one of the days about thirst, and how there was a revelation where if we don't have the word in us, we're gonna crave it. We're going to be thirsty for it. We could literally die without it, right? We're not die physically, but we're gonna be empty. And so often,
water was the kind of
water was the connecting. Yeah, because water. I mean, you could only go for what, like 3 or 4 days without water, and you are dead, right? Spiritually, when you don't have the word of God, you will feel empty, and there is an emptiness that I even experience when I do go longer time periods without going to church or reading my Bible or having conversations with people that are connecting me. So that was a big revelation for me, and it came from the journal. So thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so open for speaking engagements. So can they find you through your website or social media for that?
Yes, social media or my website. We've talked about the social media at Career and Home Journey. I'm only on Instagram right now. And then my website, www.careerandhomejourney.com.
Is that where they can buy your journal?
Yes, there's a shop on there, and just a little bit more about me, kind of my foundations and my philosophy on things.
We know that you've been very successful.
Oh.
You've done a lot of really great things, but how would you define success now? And what would that look like for you in the future, other than earning millions of dollars?
I mean, that would be nice, but I have to be honest with you. One of the biggest things that's changed in me since moving here and really in this phase of my life is contentment. So I'm no longer. Is it
My word.
for the year?
To 2024.
Like okay, contentment.
Breadcrumb. That's a freaking breadcrumb. I just said my word.
Holy shit.
So for me, success right now is contentment. And there's so much pressure that we put on ourselves outside of that doesn't need to be there. And there's a journal, because I love journals. There's a journal by Rachel Cruz. It's Dave Ramsey's daughter. It's called the Contentment Journal. And so I had walked through that, I don't know, shortly after I moved here, and just really helped highlight for me all the things I already have. Like, there's so much of my life that I already have. And for some reason, I just keep acting like I need so much more. And so contentment is what success looks like for me right now.
That's exactly it.
What a breadcrumb moment
I
that
know.
just happened.
Because I have the same.
I know, like, cheers.
You gave me goosebumps. Oh, wow. That's cool.
And that is really cool, because if you think about like if you actually stop and think, like, we always do want more. I don't know why our human brain wants more. More. But if you actually stop and think, okay, what would me 5 years ago, 10 years ago think about me now? Oh my gosh.
I know.
Like, all the dreams are true.
Yeah.
I know. And it's think about yourself though. I know that we need to be happy in the moment, but also picture yourself 5 or 10 years in the future. And are you happy on the exact same path? And
Yeah.
if not, what choices need to be made to help you get there?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're not happy with where you're at.
100. Well, do you want to do a segment real quick for fun?
Yes.
Let's do a segment.
Flower hour, that is more of like the hot take.
Oh, do you have a hot take?
No.
Damn it.
What do you think of HEB?
Oh, let's talk about HEB.
Oh, HEB's good.
What?
Okay.
Okay, this is a hot take. Jackie,
Okay.
are we
hot
past
take.
that?
No, listen, HEB is, I get angry with it. Like, great store. I can find everything that I need there. But I get so angry because, like, the pricing is insane. But, like, and I can go to one store that's 30 minutes in one direction and pay $5 more than 30 minutes in the opposite direction. But different product, like it's like different product at that store will be the $5 more. It's not like, oh, that store is $5 more. It is so product based where if I really were to think like financially, I would have to go to that store for these products and that store for these products. And
Really?
I
I have
did
never
not know
noticed that.
that.
well, like, I'm in a
They're
phase.
betting people don't notice that.
Well, I'm in a phase in my life where, like, for the first time in my life, I'm looking at grocery prices.
Yeah.
So, like, first of all, how incredible that for the first time in my life, I mean, I remember my mom just, like, literally taking things off of the belt as the tally went up. But,
This has to do with like their pricing strategy or something.
Yeah. And it's like, at that store, almond butter, ridiculous.
Wait, at you know what it is? It's demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I go,
yeah.
but it's like, well, I think it's more like distribution. Like, I assume the distribution of it takes more to get it out there.
Oh, that makes sense.
I don't know, but
Actually, I have another hot take,
okay.
because this was mine and Jackie's first fight ever.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And now Danny's going to be the deciding
Okay.
factor. Oh my God, I'm
No,
so scared. I'm
listen.
so scared. Okay.
Also, sorry, I want to say one more thing about HEB
Okay.
before we move on. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but the prices do increase if you do curbside or delivery versus if you go inside.
Yeah.
So like it'll automatically go up.
I don't
and it
do
doesn't
curbside.
reflect on the percentage or the price, like the cost of doing curbside. Like the actual price of the item will go up.
Maybe
Isn't that
that's what it is,
interesting?
because you like curbside.
I do curbside to prevent me from buying all the other things at HEB, to
Yeah.
be clear. So it is much less
So if
expensive.
you walk inside
For
and look
me-
at the price, it could be like $1 less inside.
Yes. But if I walk inside, I will buy all the other things. So Curbside saves me a lot of money.
This is another hot take. I love going in fucking H-E-B and going shopping.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with going into the store. Me and Chris, we like to do it. We're grocery shoppers, and I will die on that hill. I hate curbside.
I think for me, it's sensory overload. There's just so many people. There's so many options.
You make
I
a
like
list.
going at 7 a.m. when there's no
You don't follow the
people.
list.
Yeah.
But you make the list. You follow half of it, and then you buy a bunch of other shit too, because you're like, I could use that. I could use that. I could use that. I love it. I want to go to H-E-B
Wait,
now.
are you from Texas?
I am not, but I've been here over half my life.
Oh,
now.
okay.
So I've been here 21 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's
I'm
how
just
I like.
I'm saying,
Well, be a native
Texan.
That's a no.
I was like, look, the native Texan was gonna be like, so no.
That's
She's
early
not-
migrant.
But what I mean?
I saw
This is what I
downtown
mean.
before the
Danny, that's why
landscape
I'm like, no,
changed.
the one thing I've learned is like, hey, I'm not from here.
Yeah.
I don't get to say things about Texas. Good or bad, I'm not from here. I'm not from here, but I love being here, and I'm grateful to y'all for having me.
We tried to set that trap.
Played it. I was like, that's
that.
I was like,
You're like, no.
nope. Learned that. It didn't take me long to learn that lesson. Did it, lady?
Okay, I want to hear about this fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Let me put our fight in quotation marks. Okay, so one day I said, let's test our relationship. And I need to know, are you NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Okay.
And so on the count of 3, we set our answer. Now, I'm not going to tell you what we chose, but I'm going to count to 3, Danny, and you're going to choose one. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Neither.
Oh my gosh, are you 98 degrees? Oh my gosh, Danny.
Think about the third option.
Nicer.
Maybe it's because I'm a few years older than y'all.
Okay, so
Okay,
who did you?
who's your boy band?
Yeah, who's your boy band?
Maybe I wasn't into boy bands.
Okay, who's your girl band?
I liked Christina Aguilera, which I guess was around the same era.
Yeah,
right?
that was the same
I
era.
was like,
Yeah.
if you could like Christina, you
Yeah.
can like.
Because I wasn't Team Britney. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, now is my hot
I was like,
take.
oh man, now we have another thing that we have to just.
Now,
And
okay.
that book was hard to read.
Oh, Brittany. Okay, wait. Can we talk about Brittany and Christina back in the day, though? Like, let's pick our person back in the day. Not now.
Christina.
Yours.
Ex-Tina.
I would have been Brittany,
Brittany, too.
obviously.
Brittany. It's Brittany
Hello.
Rich. Hello.
I
First of all, look at us putting women against each other
know.
in our
I was like,
teenage
how
years.
dare you?
Disgusting. But I did love both. Come On Over was like best fucking song ever, though.
Yeah.
So no boy band, no like,
I think if I had to choose, like if a song came on the radio and what I would sing probably would be more NSYNC if I had to pick.
Look at the look on Brittany's face.
Did
too.
you just
Like,
win?
like it means nothing to me. I'm like, okay, you can both be wrong. That's fine. No, like I'm not gonna like the level. I don't even know if they're still the Stratosphere, but they were like the Backstreet Boy. Like the level of like no. Like I could go there by myself, and I am confident that I could rock out with any of the 8 millions of other women. Millions, whoever. I'm sure it's millions. Just like in that place, like I could rock out. To that.
I would love to freaking go to the Sphere and do that.
Yeah.
Oh, are we going? Okay.
I mean, and
As like an adult, so I was obsessed with Jewel, right, in the 90s.
Love her.
And then as an adult, like in my older years, I've gone to see her, I think, 3 times. It is funny because it's like, it's just a bunch of middle-aged women and it's
Rocking
fun.
out.
but I don't care. Like I don't.
Yeah,
care.
I do not care.
Like
I'm here
I'm-
for it.
okay with it.
Oh, I want to go see Alanis Morissette now.
That would be really good.
My husband took me to Dirk Bentley a couple of years ago,
What was
which was always my artist. And when I tell you, I was like back in it. I was like,
That's a good one.
He like let me go up afterwards and like stand to try and like put my arm out.
Oh.
Like he hung out with. I was like, honey, you won. Husband.
I
award.
know. I'm
Like-
impressed.
Like, yeah, no, he was there for the whole, because I mean, he loves country music too, but yeah, he was there for it all. And like, even afterwards, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go down there. And he's like, well, let's go. And yeah, I couldn't believe it. I think he was just like, couldn't believe what he was seeing. Yeah. I was like, oh.
That's but
Dirk Bentley was that a long time ago? In my mind,
in
it
my
doesn't-
mind, it's not.
It's not.
Okay.
That was the first That was the first concert I ever personally picked. That's the first concert I ever got to go to without my parents. Was Dirk Bentley.
Mine was Weezer.
Oh,
My first concert, guys.
whoa.
You know, my first concert was NSYNC.
Oh,
Before they were famous.
Really?
We went
Oh.
because it was Olivia. It was something at like 96.7 or something in Austin. It was like Olivia Newton-John, Kool and the Gang, and then there was a new boy band, and we didn't know, and it was freaking NSYNC.
that's funny.
And I'm on my mom's shoulders with my cousin Aunt Amy. She's technically my aunt, but I call her my cousin because she's younger than me. My family's weird. But we
Watch
were
our
like,
episode.
yeah, we're like jamming out, and then literally like a week or two later, they were on MTV.
That's cool.
So that's why I love
Lisa
NSYNC so
from the
much.
network has something there.
Oh, yeah,
right?
she, like, knows Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, Jackie, I could talk to you for
I know.
30 more
I have
hours,
no idea how
honestly.
long we've been talking because
I know,
time just flies
I
by.
don't-
Thank you, ladies, so much for having me. Truly an honor to be here. I feel like I've seen so much of this from early on, and like so proud of both of you that you're doing it and you're rocking it, and can't wait to see where it takes you.
Thank you,
for coming.
boo.
This was awesome.
Anyways, Jackie, you're a badass. I love you.
Oh, thanks.
This was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Don't forget, at Career and Home Journey or her website, careerandhomejourney.com. It's very simple for y'all.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes.
We always say, I'm going to say, okay, guys, so go out into your week and
Follow your breadcrumbs.
She said follow.
Find
She said follow.
your breadcrumbs.
What do you
This
think
is-
it should be?
Well, this is always a sticking point.
It?
Okay, always.
It is?
Like,
well, it is. So yes, what do you think it should be?
I don't know. See, okay, guys, I want to deep dive this. We don't have time to deep dive. Okay, cut this out.
No, don't
Nope.
put it out. Leave
Oh,
it in.
okay, okay.
This is an ongoing debate.
Okay, so I mean, follow really does imply the path that I think you're taking women down, or not just women. You guys are meeting with a lot of different people, but that you're taking your guests down. They're following something. You're helping them follow this journey of picking up breadcrumbs, leaving breadcrumbs for others behind you. So I would choose follow for that, unless your intention really is that your guests are gonna seek them out, like that you want them to leave here and actually go seek breadcrumbs. Now that they know about the breadcrumb effect, go seek them
I
out.
do want them to do that, but I like the way follow sounds.
I like the way follow sounds better, but
Yeah.
I'm like, in my mind, this was my debate point. In my mind, following sounds like you are you have no free will. You're just following a path and you're picking it up along the way, and you're just following the breadcrumbs that are left out for
Yeah.
you. But I think we're finding them, so we are picking them up. We look back and we're like, I found this. That's a breadcrumb. I found my breadcrumbs. But I do agree. I like the way follow sounds more. But I feel like we're finding them. This is where my problem is.
What do you want to say?
We'll let
today?
you say. That could be the thing
I like
for
that.
everyone.
That's what we'll just say. You pick.
I'd pick find.
Okay.
I would probably pick find,
Okay.
just because I think the call to action is more like, hey, as you said, go look for them.
Okay.
like it.
Leave here, go look.
Such a bitch. I'm like,
I was like,
yes,
you won
I'm the-
one, she won one.
I'm going to
I'm
win.
I'll put that on the tally board. I was like, I know now who won just now. Okay.
It should be a whiteboard here. I will.
Whiteboard. I like that.
All right, friends. So go out into your week and
Find your
breadcrumbs. Whoosh.
We may cuss. We may offend.
Maybe don't listen to this with your kids in the car. We're here to learn and laugh, not to offend.
We are not experts, so take what resonates and professional advice where needed. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
If you've loved today's conversation, subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Continue picking up the breadcrumbs by leaving us a review and sharing.
Follow us on socials. We are at Instagram at The Breadcrumb Effect, TikTok at The Breadcrumb Effect Pod, and YouTube at The Breadcrumb Effect.
Let us know your favorite episode or what you'd like to see.
Want to be a guest or know someone with a story? Fill out our guest interest form linked in our bios.
Finally, let us know if you found the hidden loaf. Until next time, keep picking up those breadcrumbs.
They're leading you exactly where you're meant to be. Well done. We like out of line.
Perfect. We're out of luck.
This will be fun.
Danny, I know you normally do the intros, but can I?
Shoot, I had to set my gum out.
Oh.
Sorry about your book.
Oh, it's okay.
My gosh. We did it in the book?
It's fine. It'll be fine. I love your book.
I was just like,
It's an uncommon bookmark. Okay.
yeah. I was
Wait,
like,
that's,
that was
that's her
a
other
real
name.
sticking point for me.
Trust me.
And the book right there. I need to go back to that. Breadcrumb,
I love
just
your book
placed.
so much.
There, the breadcrumb right there.
Literally.
I do like little quick poems or like one-liner things. And one of the things I wrote about was like crumbs in your seams. You're reading and you're eating, but it also can be like crumbs in your seams in your life. It's both.
I feel like you're looking at me.
We are.
Oh,
Okay, damn it.
how much do you want me to drive this? And how much do you want to drive?
Well, let's do the plugs because this is
Oh.
very important.
Yes.
We don't have to, don't write, let's do the plugs in the podcast.
No.
Okay.
But wait, let's.
Okay.
Is it okay if I just
Yeah.
quickly
Pause,
take
pause,
a peek?
Can I do one quick drink of water?
Of course.
No.
Are
No, I'm good.
you recording?
Yeah.
Oh,
am
shit.
I didn't pause it.
Oh,
just let
okay.
it
I thought you
keep
meant,
going.
I thought you paused.
We got all that.
I got that loud.
That'll be in the end of the episode, by the way. I know.
We're gonna end it with that.
Oh shit.
Okay. So
I just learned
Do you-
about the segments.
Okay, do you have a segment that you wanted to do? So there's
No,
breaking
but
bread.
I will find, you know me, I will find something.
Okay,
to-
well, there's breaking bread, which is just gratitude. Boring. Just kidding. Just kidding. What are you reading right now? What are you into? Or a hot take? Those are fun.
a hot take for Texas?
Yeah,
it
about
doesn't have to be
anything.
like, it doesn't have to be something crazy. It can be like a silly hot take. Like I think one time,
Mhm.
remember I was talking about the police officer. Like, do you drive
Yeah.
the same way? That's
which, by the way, I don't know if you noticed that video on TikTok has been like flagged.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah.
flag.
Isn't that funny?
Why?
I don't know. So stupid. That's my hot take. It's stupid.
I feel like a hot take on Texas, like I'm not allowed to speak of Texas because I'm not a Texan. Like
You're
no,
afraid to get the flag.
no, I can't.
I was gonna sing it a minute, but I was like, oh my god, Danny will put that in the podcast. Never mind.
I feel like never sing on a microphone.
I have so much power in editing.
I like it.
Okay, I love you. Bye.